Throughout history, ancient civilizations left behind structures so massive, so precise, and so completely out of place that even today, with everything we know, experts still can't explain how they were built. Cities carved hundreds of feet underground. Colossal statues placed on summits so remote it's hard to reach them now, let alone 2,000 years ago. These are 10 ancient megastructures built by unknown civilizations that experts can't fully explain. High in the mountains of southeastern Turkey stands one of the most unusual ancient sites ever discovered. Mount Nemrut is crowned with enormous stone statues of gods and kings, some standing over 30 feet tall. They were constructed more than 2,000 years ago as part of the tomb sanctuary of King Antiochus I, a ruler who apparently wanted to be remembered on a scale that defied geography itself. But here's what raises serious questions. These massive stones weren't carved at the summit. They were transported there, to a remote mountain peak that even today requires a long and difficult climb just to reach on foot. The engineering required to move stones of that size up terrain that steep without any of the machinery we'd rely on now, ancient builders somehow managed it, and exactly how they did it remains a subject of debate. Beneath the landscape of Cappadocia in central Turkey lies something that seems almost impossible: an entire city hidden underground. Derinkuyu extends more than 200 feet below the surface and once housed thousands of people. Not just a tunnel system, a fully functioning underground civilization, complete with living quarters, storage rooms, ventilation shafts, wells, and even places of worship. What makes this site so staggering is the scale of what had to be removed. Carving a multi-level city from solid rock, level by level, chamber by chamber, without modern tools would have required enormous effort, precise planning, and a workforce organized on a level that's difficult to fully reconstruct. And yet, it exists. Exactly how ancient builders created such a vast subterranean network remains one of archaeology's most fascinating, unsolved mysteries. Deep in the jungles of Cambodia lies Prohm, one of the most visually striking temples of the ancient Khmer Empire. Unlike many of the sites nearby, Prohm was deliberately left largely unrestored. Today, massive tree roots grow directly through the stone walls and towers, wrapping around carved doorways, splitting platforms, and forcing their way through structures that have stood for nearly 1,000 years. The temple was constructed in the 12th century and once served as both a monastery and a university, a center of knowledge swallowed by the jungle. What continues to puzzle researchers isn't just how structures this enormous were built and maintained in dense jungle terrain, but how the complex managed to survive centuries of complete abandonment beneath the forest canopy without collapsing entirely. In the Ethiopian highlands stands one of Africa's most mysterious archaeological sites. The Stelae at Tiya are large carved stone pillars, many decorated with unusual symbols that archaeologists still haven't fully decoded. Some of the carvings appear to depict swords. Others show geometric patterns with no clear cultural parallel that researchers have been able to trace. Archaeologists believe the site served as an ancient burial ground, but the civilization that created these monuments left very few clues behind. No written records, no clear lineage to a known culture. Even today, the meaning of many of the carvings remains unknown, and whoever built them seems to have vanished without explanation. In northern Ethiopia stand towering granite monuments known as the Aksum obelisks, or Stelae. Some of these rise more than 70 feet into the air and weigh hundreds of tons. They were carved from single blocks of stone and erected by the ancient kingdom of Aksum nearly 2,000 years ago. What continues to intrigue researchers is the precision of their design. These aren't rough-cut pillars. They're carefully shaped, detailed monuments, raised upright and positioned with a level of accuracy that raises serious questions about the engineering involved. Transporting and erecting stones of this size would have been an enormous challenge for any civilization, ancient or modern. And yet, ancient builders did it. How, exactly, remains unclear. If you enjoy exploring ancient mysteries like these, make sure to subscribe, because the deeper archaeologists dig into the past, the more surprising discoveries they uncover. Overlooking the ruins of Palmyra in Syria stands a dramatic hilltop fortress known as Qal'at ibn Maan. From a distance, it appears almost fused with the mountain itself, as if the stone was always there and the builders simply revealed it. The fortress was constructed to dominate the surrounding desert landscape and protect the ancient city far below. But the terrain tells a different story about what building it would have required. Steep, isolated, the kind of location where simply reaching the top is an effort. Transporting materials, stone, timber, water, to that height, in that environment, without modern logistics, would have demanded enormous coordination and organization. Even today, its commanding position makes the achievement all the more impressive. How ancient builders managed it remains an open question. Hidden in the remote valleys of western Tibet lie the ruins of Tsaparang, once the capital of the ancient Guge kingdom. The city wasn't built on flat ground, it wasn't built on a gentle slope. It was carved directly into steep clay cliffs. Fortresses, temples, and homes were cut into the mountainside in layers, stacked upward and inward along terrain that seems almost hostile to large-scale construction. At its peak, Tsaparang controlled important trade routes across the Himalayas, a position of power that explains why someone would attempt to build here at all. But the unusual design raises questions that researchers still haven't resolved. How do you build a settlement of that scale on terrain that fragile? How do you sustain a civilization carved into a cliff? Today, the ruins still cling to the rock, where an entire world once functioned. In southern Spain stand some of Europe's most impressive prehistoric burial monuments, the Antiquera dolmens. These structures were built from massive stone slabs thousands of years ago. Some of the stones weigh several tons, and they were carefully arranged to form burial chambers with a precision that has kept them standing across millennia. What remains uncertain is the most fundamental part of the process. How did prehistoric communities transport and position stones of this size? This was an era long before advanced tools, before metal equipment, before any machinery we can point to as an explanation. And yet, the dolmens still stand today, silent, enormous, and completely resistant to a clear answer. Ancient builders achieved something here that we still can't fully account for. In central India lies the ancient complex of Udayagiri. Here, temples and shrines were carved directly into solid rock cliffs more than 1,500 years ago. The site contains elaborate sculptures and detailed carvings that remain remarkably well preserved, intricate work that has survived the weight of 15 centuries without collapse. But what impresses archaeologists isn't just that the carvings survived, it's what creating them would have demanded. Carving entire sanctuaries into rock is an irreversible process. Every cut is permanent. Every chamber had to be carefully shaped without damaging the surrounding stone, because one miscalculation doesn't just ruin the section, it compromises the whole structure. The level of skill and planning required to execute this at scale, using only ancient tools, continues to impress researchers today. Few ancient structures are as dramatic as the temples of Abu Simbel in Egypt. Carved directly into a mountainside during the reign of Pharaoh Ramesses II,
The temples feature colossal statues guarding the entrance, each one standing over 60 feet tall, cut from the living rock of the cliff face with a precision that still raises serious questions about how it was achieved. But the mystery goes beyond their size. The temples were aligned so that sunlight penetrates the inner sanctuary and illuminates the statues inside on specific days of the year, twice annually, with extraordinary accuracy. This wasn't accidental. It required ancient builders to calculate solar angles, plan the orientation of the structure around those calculations, and then execute the carving with enough precision that it still works today, thousands of years later. How that level of astronomical and engineering knowledge existed at the time remains a subject that continues to fascinate archaeologists. These structures span continents, centuries, and entirely different civilizations, and yet they all share the same quality. They challenge what we think we know about the ancient world. Every time researchers believe they've found an answer, the site raises another question. And sometimes, the most remarkable thing about these places isn't the stone or the size or the precision. It's the fact that an entire civilization accomplished something extraordinary and then left us no clear record of how. Which of these ancient structures do you think is the most mysterious? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next.